Hey Mindbloom fam, have you ever been in that awkward spot where someone publicly disses you or cracks a really lame joke that just leaves you feeling small and embarrassed? It's tough, right? Ever wonder how to truly earn respect, especially from those people who just seem to dismiss everyone else's worth? And how do you even begin to deal with folks who constantly try to put others down to make themselves look better? In our fast-paced world, it's a real challenge to maintain your self-respect and get the respect you deserve from others. We often find ourselves navigating tricky situations where the line between genuine humor and outright offense gets blurry, or where opportunistic behavior from some individuals leaves us feeling used. The key isn't to react with anger or aggression. It's about responding with smart thinking and strategic psychology. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into some incredibly powerful psychological tips and techniques that will help you not only handle these uncomfortable situations with grace, but also instantly command the respect of everyone around you. So, stick with us until the very end, because we're not just sharing theories, we're going to show you exactly how to behave when someone tries to make a fool of you in public. These aren't just empty words, they're practical, actionable tools you can apply immediately to your everyday life. Part 1. Why we get disrespected, understanding the root cause. Before we jump into solutions, let's get to the bottom of the problem. Why do you sometimes find yourself in situations where you're not getting the respect you deserve? A lot of the time, it's not even about someone actively disliking or despising you. Instead, it often boils down to a common psychological trait: opportunism. You know those people who, to get ahead or make themselves look good, are totally fine with stepping on others? They see people as ladders to climb, or as useful tools to achieve their own personal goals. This kind of behavior isn't just limited to cutthroat corporate environments. It pops up in friend groups, families, and any social setting. Some individuals just naturally tend to look for others' weaknesses to exploit, to exert power, or to show off their supposed superiority. They might not intentionally want to hurt you, but they're simply trying to boost their own standing in the eyes of others, or in their own self-perception. So, to avoid becoming a target of these opportunistic behaviors, it's absolutely crucial that you establish your own self-respect right from the get-go. But what exactly does establishing respect mean? It's not about forcing anyone to revere you. Instead, it means preventing others from exploiting you to make themselves look better, or to achieve their own ends. This requires you to set clear boundaries, and not allow anyone to cross them. And if things truly escalate, you must be willing to walk away from environments that don't value your presence. It's always better to be an appreciated absence than a devalued presence. However, preventing things from getting to that extreme point is always the preferred option. That's precisely why, right after this, we're going to share some practical, easy-to-apply tips to help you deal with those annoying situations where someone tries to belittle you. Whether it's at work, in social circles, or even within your own family. Quick break. Support the Mindbloom Studio. Before we dive into our powerful tips, I've got a quick favor to ask. If you're finding this content helpful and valuable for your personal growth, please take a moment to hit that like button for this video, and subscribe to the Mindbloom Studio if you haven't already. Your support means the world to us, and helps us create even more empowering content for you. Thanks a bunch. Tip 1. Master the first impression. Your body speaks before you do. First impressions are incredibly powerful, often formed in just the first few seconds of meeting someone new. It's not just about what you say. Even more importantly, it's about how you present yourself through your body language. Imagine you're at a networking event or a social gathering. When someone approaches to greet you and shake your hand, what's your immediate reaction? Stand up to shake hands. This gesture, while seemingly simple, carries immense weight. If you remain seated when greeting and shaking someone's hand, you instantly put yourself at a disadvantage. The other person has to look down at you, subconsciously creating an impression of inferiority or submission. Conversely, when you stand up, you convey equality. respect for the other person, and a strong sense of self-confidence. It subtly sends the message, I am someone who deserves respect. Maintain direct eye contact. This is an absolute game changer. When shaking hands, look directly into their eyes. A confident, direct gaze shows that you're trustworthy, self-assured, and not intimidated. On the flip side, a common mistake is to look at their hand when greeting them, or to glance down. When you do that, your head subtly tilts down, and the lack of direct eye contact creates a sense of shyness, insecurity, or even submission. This just reinforces the idea that you might be easily manipulated or lack presence. A practical scenario. Think about walking into a job interview. If you plop down in your chair while the interviewer is still standing to greet you, your initial impression is already damaged. Instead, rise to your feet, offer a firm handshake, and look them straight in the eye. This not only shows professionalism, but also projects confidence and dynamism, qualities every employer seeks. So, here's your takeaway. The next time someone approaches you to greet you, stand up, look them straight in the eye, and offer a firm handshake. Your body language will speak volumes before you even utter a single word. Tip 2. Reclaim the conversation. The power of your gaze and assertive words. Ever been in the middle of sharing an important idea or telling a fascinating story, only to have someone rudely interrupt you mid-sentence? That feeling can be incredibly frustrating, right? How do you regain control of the conversation without causing a full-blown argument? This is where you harness the power of your gaze and your assertive, yet polite, words. The steady gaze. When someone interrupts you, the very first and most crucial thing you need to do is lock eyes with them. You don't need to stare menacingly or aggressively. Just maintain a calm, steady, but determined gaze. This look sends an incredibly powerful, non-verbal message. I know you just interrupted me, and I'm not going to let it slide. This visual cue is remarkably effective, and often enough to make them pause and realize their mistake. Polite, yet firm words. Once you've established eye contact and sense that the other person has registered their misstep, you can politely but firmly ask to continue. Use simple phrases that reclaim your space, such as, "Excuse me, may I continue? Could I just pick up where I left off?" "Yes, I was just saying," and then smoothly continue your point as if the interruption barely registered. This approach not only clearly communicates that their behavior was disrespectful, but also asserts that you won't tolerate being cut off without reason. A specific example. Imagine you're in a team meeting, presenting a brilliant idea, and a colleague suddenly cuts you off to interject their own point. Instead of shrinking back or getting into a verbal sparring match, pause, look directly into your colleague's eyes calmly for a few seconds, then clearly state, "May I finish my point?" or "Please allow me to complete my presentation." More often than not, the interrupting colleague will feel a little flustered and yield the floor back to you. This strategy works incredibly well in public or professional settings. Often, that simple look of disapproval or a polite yet firm statement is enough to make the person realize their error and automatically stop. Your calm composure and quiet confidence will be your most potent weapons. Tip 3. Turn their joke into their own embarrassment. When someone tries to humiliate you. This is a situation many of us have likely encountered. You're in a group of friends or colleagues, and someone deliberately makes a joke designed to put you down, leaving you feeling mortified in front of everyone. The typical reaction might be to feel upset, angry, or even try to explain yourself. But there's a much smarter way to deal with this. The strategy here is to not react immediately, and to shift the burden of the joke back onto the teller. Pretend you didn't hear or understand when the joke is told. Don't show any annoyance or sign that you're affected. Instead, pretend you didn't quite hear it or didn't grasp its meaning. Then, as calmly and naturally as possible, look at the person who made the joke and ask them to repeat it. You can say things like, "Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Could you repeat that? Oh, I didn't quite catch that. What did you just say? Could you explain that joke? I'm not sure I understood it." Diminish the joke's impact. This action immediately puts the joke teller in a difficult position. Why? Because repeating a joke significantly reduces its comedic impact, especially when it's requested publicly and unnaturally. The humor of a joke often lies in its surprise and spontaneity. When they have to repeat it, they lose that advantage, and the joke will become stale and less funny. Furthermore, having to explain a poor joke also makes the teller awkward, and sometimes even exposes their own lack of humor. Illustrative example. Imagine you're telling a story about a trip, and a friend interjects, "Oh, I bet you came back broke. Just like you always do." Instead of getting upset, you flash a slight smile and say, "Oh, what did you just say? I didn't quite hear. Could you repeat that for me?" At this point, your friend will have to repeat their joke. And when they do, it won't be funny anymore. It might even make them feel embarrassed for revealing their ill intentions. By doing this, you not only avoid feeling awkward and humiliated, but also completely flip the script, making the person who tried to put you down feel embarrassed instead. This is a high-level psychological strategy, demonstrating your self-confidence and emotional control. Tip 4. Disrupt provocation with the unexpected. The rain doesn't touch the ground technique. Some people have a tendency to provoke and annoy you to see your reaction, or simply to create conflict. In such situations, reacting directly with anger or arguments often escalates things, and you easily fall into their trap. Instead, use an incredibly effective psychological technique I call the rain doesn't touch the ground technique. Ask a question or make a comment completely out of context. When someone is trying to provoke you, don't let them control the conversation in the direction they want. Instead, unexpectedly ask a question or make a comment that is completely unrelated to the current topic. The key is to make it sound totally natural, not intentional, so the other person doesn't suspect you're deliberately trying to divert them. Examples. The other person is trying to pick apart your work mistakes or criticize your appearance. Instead of defending yourself or arguing, you could suddenly say, "By the way, do you know a good coffee shop nearby? I'm really craving a coffee. Don't you think it's unusually hot today? I feel like I wore too many clothes. I just heard a fascinating story about pet care. Do you have any pets?" Disrupt the flow of provocation. This technique works by completely interrupting the other person's train of thought and their plan to provoke you. They've prepared a mental script to annoy you, but when you unexpectedly shift the conversation to an entirely different topic, they'll be shocked, disoriented, and won't know how to react. They'll have to switch from attack mode to new information processing mode. And this often makes them lose their provocative momentum. When the other person is flustered, you can gently steer the conversation to another topic you're more comfortable with, or simply end the conversation politely. This strategy not only helps you maintain your composure, but also leaves the person trying to provoke you bewildered, making them realize that annoying you is futile and won't yield any results. Tip 5. Know when to walk away. The value of an appreciated absence. We've talked a lot about how to gain respect and deal with awkward situations. But there's a harsh truth we must accept. No one is obligated to respect you. And conversely, you are not obligated to tolerate disrespect. There will be times when, no matter how many tips and psychological techniques you apply, some people will simply be unwilling to give you the respect you deserve. Perhaps they are too stubborn, too negative, or simply incapable of recognizing the value of others. In these cases, trying to cling on or change them will only exhaust and hurt you further. This is when you need to apply the final and most crucial tip. Know when to walk away. Walking away does not mean defeat. Many people think that leaving, giving up a relationship or an environment, is a sign of weakness or failure. But the reality is quite the opposite. Walking away in this context is a powerful act, a testament to absolute self-respect. It shows that you understand your worth, and you are unwilling to allow anyone to diminish that value. Becoming an appreciated absence. When you decide to distance yourself from an environment that doesn't respect you, You are sending a clear message. I'd rather be an appreciated absence than a devalued presence. Sometimes, only when you are no longer there do others realize your value, and is your absence felt. This doesn't always happen, but even if it doesn't, you still maintain your peace of mind and your self-esteem. Practical example. You have a friend or a group of friends who constantly ridicule you, never listen to your opinions, or always put you down in conversations. You've tried applying the tips above, but the situation hasn't improved. At this point, spending less time with them, or even cutting ties, is a sound decision. Life is too short to be surrounded by people who don't appreciate you. Remember, your value does not depend on how others treat you. It comes from how you perceive and protect that value yourself. Conclusion and final call to action. So, there you have it, Mindbloom fam. We've explored 5 incredibly useful psychological tips to deal with situations of disrespect and how to regain control in your relationships. From mastering the first impression, reclaiming conversations, turning jokes into their own embarrassment, disrupting provocation with the unexpected, to knowing when to walk away. Each tip is a powerful tool to help you protect your self-respect and cultivate healthier relationships. Remember, earning respect isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey of building your confidence, staying assertive, and mastering your emotional responses. Don't hesitate to try applying these tips in your daily life. You'll be surprised by the positive changes they bring. And now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced any of the situations we've just discussed? How did you react? And do you find these tips helpful for your own journey? Please leave a comment with your experiences and share your thoughts on this topic. Your stories can inspire and empower so many others in our Mindbloom community. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Mindbloom Studio to ensure you don't miss out on more empowering content about psychology and personal growth. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video.